So this is the landing page. It just plays a short animation just for visual impact. It's got this typewriter effect on the heading for the landing page, just for that striking kind of effect for each user. And then we get to the end here. The background video will still play for a little while, but at this point, most users will navigate to one of these tabs in the navigation bar here. We are home, so we need to either choose map or chat room. We'll select map right now. That'll take us to one giant map with all of these custom climate event markers accurately located at the correct coordinates. And as you can see, we can hover them and it'll show us which one we are hovering. And then we can zoom in and we can click on them. And as we can see, as we zoom in closer, that, sometimes it's two markers very close together. So we'll click this marker here. We see it's hovering. We see our cursor changed. We're going to click that, and it brings up some information about that specific marker. The date, time of the activity, latitude, longitude. It'll bring up a specific link for that event to Google search more information. So we can show that now. And it brings up Google search with that title in the query, so we can find more information on that specific event as we see here. Close that out. We can see what else there is. There's a little bit of information here about climate change and how it creates these type of events more frequently, and then some links to some organizations that try to mitigate climate change or reverse it. So these are organizations. This will automatically load the donation link, as we can see here. It does the same thing for all of them, and then this will also here create a Google search for more climate change organizations, as we see in the query here. And so any users that aren't really aware have the opportunity to find more information very easily just based on this information window you see here. And then we have the direct data link, which comes from the EONet API, the NASA API that I'm using to gather the information here. As we can see, this just brings up the JSON data just for that one single event. And here we can see the coordinates and the activity date, the geometry, the sources that they used for this information, the type of climate event that it is, and a couple other things here above. Let's closing that out. You can close out this window here, this information window, and it brings us back to the main map. As we can see, we can customize how it appears. I really like that feature. It makes it a little bit easier to see where these events are falling on specific landmarks or things like that. We can also change it. We can also change it to satellite with or without labels, which is also really cool. We can zoom in here. In New Mexico, there's some big wildfires happened recently, and we can see, some of the landmarks they're near, just based on how we want to view this. So that's pretty neat. I'm going to click on that, and it'll do the same thing, bring up some information about that specific climate event, the custom link, as we can see here, bringing up more information about that specific event. Same information here, and then you got the source links all over again. And you can see this is the original source of the information that the EONet API has used. And I am pulling from the EONet API itself, not from the source that they are using. Okay, I can also just click inside the map if I want to get rid of this information window here, and it'll bring us back to the map. Okay, so now we're ready to move on to the next step. Basically, we've seen all the events. We've seen this very striking visual representation of the world and its current state. We can see all of these active volcanoes, meaning they are exhausting fumes or erupting actively at any given time, whatever NASA's standards for considering these active are. Some of them have been active for 20 years, so you'll see some dates ranging back to the early 2000s, things like that. All right, moving on to the chat room. We're going to go up here to our navigation bar and click on that link, and it'll bring us to this, little fun plan words here, climate board, kind of like Discord, things like that. says join a room to start collaborating. So we're going to enter just whatever username we want. I'm just going to use my name for now. And then we can see we can select a room. So this nifty little drop down here, we can select a specific topic that we want to discuss. Today, I think we'll just discuss this one. We'll join that, and we can see the visual representation down below as well. We want to include this as often as possible, just to keep that the interest and that visual impact that it provides. It's good to for people that are just learning about climate change and its effects. It's good to have this visual representation for them. So I'm going to join this chat room here that I specified under this username. And then we can see in the query here, it's throwing that information in. We've joined the chat room. We've got our map on the left-hand side. It's still fully customizable, still the exact same map markers as before, unless new ones have come in since we last checked the map, because it fetches the data each and every time this map is loaded. So there could possibly be a new map marker somewhere. But so this one over here on our right, this is our event list. This lists every single event there is that is fetched from the NASA API, and they are in order by date, by most recent date on top, and the oldest at the very bottom, as we can see, 2002 for this volcano here. So scrolling to the top, we can click on this, and we kind of get that exact same information as we did on the previous map. Just nicely consistent. We can still find information, and the nice thing here in this chat room feature is we can talk to active users about the topic that we want to discuss here that we selected in the previous menu. So here I can say, well, let's look at the other users first, because we can see Xander and James here are also active users, and these are just these tabs up here. So they can see Xander joined, and then Zach joined, and this is all just an automated bot that I have set up. So that would leave this being James. So let's send a message to all the other users. And this also recognizes emojis, which is just a fun little thing to add in. So we can see that's sent from James. This is hi users, and we have the rendered emoji here. Let's go to the other users. This is Xander. And he was also informed that Zach joined, which was this most recent tab. And they got the message from James. And then we go to Zach's tab. It doesn't show that anyone has joined because no one new has joined since, but we still get that message from James. So I'll respond, hi James. And then we'll see every user gets that message from Zach. Okay, so just a real-time chat application, very basic, but I think it's a nice feature to get the conversation going. We can even change rooms whenever we want to. So James just left, and we can see that represented here. The bot just sent that message to all the users that James has left the chat room, and James is going to join deforestation now, and then we can add a new user. Let's go here, and we'll do Joseph, and he's going to join deforestation as well. And now we can see James and Joseph are both in this chat room, and they can talk to each other. Okay. And we'll go back to James, and Joseph sent him the message. Okay. And then we get the message that James has left. Beyond that, they're very consistent with the map and the markers. Each one is represented differently with an icon that's related to what that map marker represents. They all have a little animation when you highlight them and a drop shadow, and they're all clickable, and they all trigger the same event of loading the event-specific information into this info window here. And when we click the map, we can toggle that out and go back to the list. Okay. No matter what, we can click on here, toggle it out. We can click on an actual marker, toggle it out, or we can use the provided close button here. We'll just show you kind of how responsive this is. So here it looks pretty standard, just a little bit smaller. As we come in, we'll drop the active users list because it'll make, first things first, the navigation bar, as we can see, is moved to this kind of mobile menu instead, with the toggling menu bar and then the X here to close it out. Next will be that active users list to make more room for the chat feature. The list still stays the same. everything's looking a little bit more compact and we've lost the rounded edges. And then eventually we're just going to get rid of that list altogether, just so that we can at least have the visual representation above and then the conversation continues below. Okay? And then we can drag that out and see that it's back to normal. And that is it. Thanks for watching.